Like I feel awkward.
Yeah, it's also such an interview setup when you
I know.
so
just
like
because
in
it's a
front of
really
me.
cool spot.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna mount this one here. We've had a good chat so far about quite a lot of things.
We did.
But we can start from the beginning.
Okay.
All right. So what's your name?
My name is Laura.
Okay, Laura. Can you wave to the?
Hello, I'm Laura.
Hello, and I'm William. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
So we are currently in Littleton, close to Christchurch, on the South Island of New Zealand. We met down in where was
Te Anau.
Te Anau, yeah, on the
campsite.
Yeah, on a campsite. And now our roads are crossing again. So basically, you're traveling around the South Island. You're doing like a hop on, hop off thing.
Exactly.
So, for those people that are curious about that, like how does it work? Like what does it mean to do like a hop on, hop off thing?
So it's like this company that organizes it. They actually have different tours and different offers. So one, you can either do like a completely like planned tour, so you would just be in one group and travel around, and then they plan all the activities, all the buses, all the hotels, or you can do it way more self-deciding. That's the way I do it. Like it's just, they just offer the bus route, and you can, whenever you want, hop on the bus and hop off. It's kind of like the red buses in the cities that you know.
Yeah.
But it just goes around the whole island, and you just hop on whenever you want, and then every stop you can just stay as many days as you want. So you can stay like a day, or you stay a week, or whatever you want. So
How is it? Like, is it expensive? Like, how much do you pay per trip you do, or is it like if one-time thing, like you pay for a month and you can do as much travels as you want?
you pay for the route actually, so you can do either like the southern route that I'm doing, or you can do the northern one, or you can do both islands. You can also, on every island, I think you can do like a shorter version or like a longer version where you see more or less. And then you pretty much, I think you even have like a year to actually do it.
Okay.
But I'm not sure about that though.
A
So
year?
like, no, I don't know how long you can actually do it, but
yeah.
I think it's more about the journey. So mine is like from Queenstown until Queenstown, but if you pay a little bit more, you can hop on wherever you want and just get off wherever you want.
All right.
So kind of like that.
Yeah, that's cool. So, how long are you traveling in New Zealand in total?
Not completely sure, but it's about like 2 or 3 months, most likely. Yeah, something in the middle.
Yeah.
2.5.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, what's your goals? Like, what's your goals with this trip? Like, what would you, if you're looking back at New Zealand in the future, like, what do you like sort of aim to gain or like bring with you for the future from New Zealand? Is it like anything specific? You know, like for me as a photographer, I know that I'm wanting to capture all these cool landscapes, and I'm traveling and I'm trying to meet all these awesome people, you know, like interacting with so many people. Was there like anything specific that you had in mind that you wanted to achieve when you went down to New Zealand?
Not really something I want to achieve. Well, with the whole, I'm traveling 6 months altogether, so with all that, I have different things in mind that I kind of want to try or do or not. And New Zealand is more like, I think I like that it has so much very, very beautiful nature, so much freedom, and maybe one of the goals like have that freedom in mind too, because it's very like calm, it's very beautiful, it's very much I don't know, like free in a way, but I'm trying to explain what I mean with that.
You can say it in German if you want.
No, no, I wouldn't even know how to say that in German, to be honest. No, it's just like empty and clear, you know? It's like, it's not packed, it's not busy. You can really calm down with
space,
it.
do you mean?
You have a lot of space, exactly. So I'm trying to reach that in my brain, in my mind too.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And other than that, I want to do some farm work. I want to obviously see like all the parts of New Zealand, because it's very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's the main goals, obviously meeting people and having a good time, of course.
Yeah.
But just having a good time, I guess.
Okay, and like speaking of Germany, like if you compare Germany to New Zealand, what do you think are like the things what's the things that you've noticed is like different?
Oh, so much.
Like, is there like anything that's like a major thing that you're like, okay, well, this is weird. This is not how we do it in Germany.
No, weird. I don't think it is, because also it's not a country that is very different from European countries, I would say, because it's very English, and it's not like Southeast Asia where it's like completely different, or like any Arabic country where it's like wow, so different.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know, it's definitely calmer than Germany. It's more friendly than Germany. It's very much like Germany is a lot about work, and just focusing and just like, and here it's more about being nice to especially nice to the nature. They're very close with nature, I think, and they're all about like leaving nature the way it is. Don't put trash out, don't disturb it, just like all that kind of stuff. So I noticed that it's a bit different, and the people are more welcoming, I think, more open, more friendly. Yeah, that's the main differences. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, I understand. And I would probably say quite similar to you as well. Like, you know, if you compare it to Sweden as well, I'd probably say that it's, you know, like people are a little bit more welcoming. Like, even though a lot of people say that Swedish people is quite including, I would probably say that the New Zealand people are in some ways more friendly. But one thing that I've noticed that you probably haven't because you're not driving is that they are really stressed in traffic.
Ah, really?
There's been a lot of road rage since I got to New Zealand. I've seen a lot of people raging at me for going the actual speed limit.
Oh, wow, okay.
Like, one guy told me off when I was doing, like, he was like, you know, shouting at me because I was going 40 and 40. I was like, okay, well, that's on you, brother, that's not on me, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about
that's interesting.
the differences. We talked about a little bit, differences and similarities. We haven't talked about similarities. So do you have like anything that you think is quite similar when it comes to New Zealand and Germany?
Just the culture in general. Like it's, as I said, it's not very much different just as like South America, whatever, like all these other like continents or countries. It's very European actually. So that's a big difference, a big similarity. Okay. Yeah, that's like the main one, I guess.
Okay. And if we talk about like what are the things that you want to sort of see, like what's your like main goals, except for the South Island, like when it comes to the North Island, like what's the things that you really want to, like is there like anything specific that you have in mind that you really want to see? Yeah,
like especially on the North Island, I think there's more about the Maori culture.
Yeah.
And I studied culture management, so I'm very interested in like different cultures and different languages, all that kind of stuff. So I want to definitely find out more about that. And well, there is like obviously all these movie scenes from Hobbit and whatever, all this that happens more in North Island, I think, but also here obviously in the South Island too. And then I think the North Island is more about beaches and like warm weather, whereas here it's more about like mountains, hiking, like all that. So that's what I think is different, but I'm very much traveling, just go with the flow and see what it's like when I'm there. So I try to not research too much so that I'm not preoccupied in my mind. I just want to like see it when I'm there. So that's why I can't really tell you much about the differences from the two parts because I haven't researched too much into it. But yes, that's my main goal from what I hear.
You've done a little bit of research though, but
well, it's more from like what people tell me when I talk to them. It's not what Google says.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's like word of mouth, like people talking, interactions.
Exactly. Okay. Like whenever I meet people, they're like, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that," and then
You should put together like a list.
Yeah.
If you haven't done that already, like I have had people in the store that I'm working, like if they come in and they've been traveling, I ask them to add things to my notes.
Ah, nice. Okay.
So I have like this list of a lot of things that I'm supposed to see and do on both the islands. So I'm going to try to tick that off when I go on my big next adventure.
Yeah, that's a really cool way.
Yeah.
That's really nice. I'm trying to more just go. In Germany, you have this saying like, der Nase nach. So wherever your nose points to, you just go that direction.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like get too much into lists or whatever. It just reminds me of my work as an event manager of like ticking things off. I don't want that. I'd rather just like go with the flow, go whatever I see, I do. And that's why I'm not researching too much. I'm not whatever. And whenever people suggest something or tell me about something, I have it in my mind, like more visually, and then I'll just see if that could maybe cross my mind. But my goal is not to see everything. Like I'm not here for such a long time that I even can see everything, and it would stress me out in order to maybe I miss out if I don't do that or that. So I'll just
I think that's good.
Yeah,
like to sort of embrace the pace that you have and what you actually have to work with.
Exactly.
To make it efficient for you.
Exactly.
And
so
like
the goal is not to like see everything.
Yeah.
It's just to have a good time and to see the beauty of it. And if I miss out on that corner, at least I have seen that one.
Yeah.
And that is also super fun and probably makes the journey like incredible.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, 2 more questions before we sum this up. So, if you would give advice to anyone back home that are like doubting if they should do a similar adventure that you and I are doing, what would you say to them?
If they're doubting it?
Yeah, like if they're like, okay, well, I really want to do this, but I'm not sure if I'm brave enough to do it. Like, I'm scared. What can go wrong? You know, like, what would you say to someone like that? Like, how can you encourage them to do this?
I think that it turned out like that for me. Whatever path I went that was not good or that went wrong in that way, it happened. It sounds cringy, but it happened for a reason, because after this went wrong, that and that and that happened, and if that wouldn't have went wrong, then I would have never experienced all of that. So that's why I'm always saying when people are too strict in like, I have to focus on this or this can't go wrong or whatever, I just always encourage them to just do whatever feels right now. And even if that goes wrong, something really good will happen after probably. Or if not, it's still part of the journey. It still makes it unforgettable and very, very special in a way. So yeah, I don't even think you can do it wrong in a way. But if people, you're asking, I don't know if I answered that right, because you're asking more about being scared, right?
Yeah, it's like, you know, it doesn't really have to be that you're scared. It's more like the fact that you are inspired and you see all these people doing these sort of adventures that we're doing as well, but you're just scared to go by yourself. You know, like, okay, well, I want to do it, but I'm afraid, you know, going by yourself is a big step. Like for me, I've done it 3 times. I've gone across the world 3 times by myself, and I'm fine with it. And I'm like quite confident, like I can manage to do all these things by myself. But some people can't. But they can, but they don't think they can. Yeah.
Well, there's always ways of getting away from that. You can always, for example, with the Kiwi experience, not do like the self-planning one. You can do like the group one, and then you're not by yourself. You're not responsible for all the bookings, for all the things, and you have a whole group. So that would be, for example, a good one. Or I did like other tours of like 3-day tours where it was like groups and stuff. So you have ways of not being alone, although you're alone. And I think that would be good for these people. If these people feel uncomfortable being by themselves, then like go for that kind of direction, because if you're uncomfortable, there's no point of just being uncomfortable all the time. So I wouldn't push them into this direction if that's scary for them, but there's other ways of doing it not by yourself.
Okay, and the final thing, would you what would you say is the best way to make friends when you're traveling by yourself? Like, do you have any ideas of how that can turn out? Probably like doing these group tours, that really, really helps me as well. I'm not the best in just randomly making friends in hostels. People say that's very easy all the time, but I actually don't find it that easy.
I
do.
find it. You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we met. No, but I find it easier in different countries than New Zealand, I have to admit.
Which
but
ones? Do you have any examples?
like Southeast Asia is a lot about like solo traveling, hostels, meeting people. All the hostels organize like party nights or whatever,
Yeah.
so it's quite easy there. Here it's very much about hiking and resting at night, resting in hostels and stuff. So it's not, people are not as much out, they're not as much drinking and stuff like that. So yeah, so I think these book group tours or hostels like that, yeah, I don't know, you have like over social media, right, like solo traveling groups or something like that.
That's true. Yeah, that's an
hear that.
option. Yeah, like I'm interacting with everyone. Like I talk with every person I meet basically, so I'm not really having a hard time to find people to do things with. It's probably more like you can do a lot of things, but it's actually more about the quality of the things you do, in my opinion. Like, you know, you can do all these cool adventures, but if you're doing it with someone that you may not really be vibing with just because you don't want to be yourself, then me personally would rather go by myself.
Yeah, me too.
And like, I think it's also like, you know, if you sort of participating in this sort of events, stuff like that, where people that have same interests as you, that's going to be like a good way to sort of, you know, connect over something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And that could be like a good thing as well. Yeah, like for us, when we met, we didn't know that we have a few things in similar, or like, you know, in common. And I think that's like a cool thing as well. Like, you know, you meet these people when you're traveling by yourself and interacting, and within like a week they could be like a really good friend. That you totally open up to.
Yes.
Or they can be someone that you just walked by and you said hello to. So like, you know, I think it's all about how you approach it and like how you see it. Like I see every person I meet on the street or I meet somewhere, I see them as a potential new friend. And I think that's also
really
one of the
good.
reasons that me personally open up quite easily, because I feel that if I'm opening up,
They open
someone
up.
else can feel trust.
Yeah.
Because I'm opening up and trusting them.
Yeah.
Then you can open up to me and you can trust me as well. Well, I'm not sure how much more time we do got, but I appreciate the interview, and I also appreciate the lovely dinner.
Yes.
Maybe we will see you again.
Maybe.
All right.
Let's see. Thank you so much. Dankeschön.
Dankeschön.